The biggest problem in a Linux is if you will start a computer and sometime computer will not start and you will face the problem because every system must have a bootloader. Bootloader means when you are switch on the computer, it will first start the BIOS, basic input output system. Then BIOS will check all the hardware peripheral devices are connected and working properly. Then it will check for the MBR, master boot record. So because MBR is a partition type table which will define which partition is bootable, because in a hard disk when you have created multiple partition, so which partition is having the booting files. These may be the C in the case of the Windows, but in a Linux MBR does not exist. In a Linux there is a grub bootloader. So grub bootloader will define which or where the booting files are stored. Booting files means the files which are required at a time of the initialization your operating system. So initialization of the operating system booting process, so it is the grub bootloader. So because in a Linux there is a one partition or the one directory name is a /boot. So this directory will have all the type of the files which is required in a booting process. So it will first start this one boot and check for the loaders, and then it will call for the image, or it will start some basic utilities. Then your computer will start and you can see the screen. There is a one system D. If you have heard about this system D, the daemon of the system, so complete system will run under this daemon. If you think about the grub bootloader, there is a two things. One thing is a kernel, another is a init RAM FS. Init RAM FS. So the kernel, as you know, this is the heart of the computer or the OS, means the main or the core of the OS. This is actually allow the users to interact with the hardware. Without kernel you cannot interact with the hardware, right? So now the question is this: what is the init RAM FS is doing? Actually user is interacting with the hardware with the help of the kernel, but kernel cannot do it itself. Kernel required some drivers. Without drivers you cannot access the hardware, because if you want to be access any hard disk you must have a driver. For the example, if you want to be use the printer, so you must have a driver. For the USB mouse, keyboard, whatever the any peripheral device you are using, you must have a driver. So init RAM FS actually responsible to load the drivers on your system. Alright. So kernel and the init RAM FS, these are the part of the grub. Grub will start the kernel, grub will start the init RAM FS. Combination of these two, we can say this is the grub2 bootloader. And where the information you will get related to this, the information you will get here, the cat etc. Inside the etc there is a defaults, and inside this grub. And if you talk about the configuration file. So you will get this configuration file inside the boot, grub2 and grub configuration file. At the time of the BIOS is a legacy, all the old version of the BIOS, but latest version is a UEFI, which is going to be secure and latest version. So where you will get this file if your system is UEFI based? So the boot file you will get here, boot EFI Red Hat and grub.conf on the RHEL 9. Alright, so how you can check this etc default and the grub? So simple, you can run the command first. Cat etc default and the grub and hit enter. So you can get some basic information here. First it will check what the system release, and this is the command line kernel here. This is the kernel, and this is the swap partition will be, and here is the albium will start. Okay, and grub disable recovery is true and enable true. This is the basic information. But if you want to check the configuration, then you have seen some time before I have told you, this is the information where you will get the configuration file /boot/grub2 and the grub.cfg. If you want to check this file, you can use the cat /boot/grub/grub. Permission denied. Okay, sudo. So this is not a small file. This is a big file having some programming content. If else, this multiple programming content is there. Okay. Do not edit this file. This is the warning is written here. So if you feel any issue at the time of the loading your system or with the boot grub loader, or you want to be regenerate the grub bootloader, so you can simply run the command as grub make command. You can generate here this command, grub and make configure. You can run this command. Okay, once you will run this command, so what this command actually will do, so grub2 and mkconfig, here it is, and hit enter. So it is generating this file again. So there is it is actually command which will help you to generate the sum. If you want to be give the specific this like grub2 config, and you want to be copy in a specific file, so you can put it here. That's it, nothing else. This is actually use the redirector here, and we have already discussed about the redirector. So whatever the output was on the screen, it will be written in the inside this file. Okay, so this is how you can do that. Is there any question do you have related to the grub configuration? Now you can check, you can understand simply. There is only one command, grub2 mkconfig, which will reconfig your grub bootloader. That's it. In this case, there is a 3. These are actually the bootloader. Okay, if you want to edit this, you select this any grub bootloader and then press the E. You will reach in this screen here in this Linux this one. So here at the end of this line, I am going to remove the quit and RHGB, and right now I am going to press the Ctrl X and reboot. Means you can change from here. You can change the bootloader also. You can change some specific here inside this one. You can check generally this particular, means you can make the changes inside it. Okay, when I will show you how you can make these changes, and then you can change the password of this root rel 9. Okay, so I am pressing the control X. When I am pressing the control X, so you can see now lots of the things are displaying on the screen. Previously it was not displaying because quit was there. You have seen I have removed two things, RHGB and quit. So the computer is starting, or computer was starting quietly. So I have removed this and RHGB. So in this case you can see all the content is displaying here. Otherwise when I am restarting the computer, so these things are not installing, like this is removing here. Okay, so that is the different. You can select any specific target and things you can change here at the time of the booting any system. Okay.